In the heart of South America, where the morning mist curls above endless horizons, lies a world unlike any other. Imagine standing before an ocean of green, a forest so vast it stretches farther than the eye can see, swallowing mountains, rivers, and skies. This is the Amazon rainforest, a living cathedral of life built not by human hands, but by time itself. The Amazon is not just a forest. It is an ancient breath, an eternal rhythm. Every second, its trees release oxygen, and every heartbeat of its rivers carries life downstream. Covering more than 5.5 million square kilometers, this wilderness sprawls across 9 countries, weaving a mosaic of land and water so immense it shapes the climate of continents. To many, it is the Earth's green lungs. To others, it is the cradle of endless mystery. Listen closely, and you'll hear its song, the distant calls of howler monkeys, the rush of hidden rivers, the hum of insects unseen. Above the canopy, scarlet macaws streak the skies with color. Beneath the surface of dark waters, river dolphins glide silently, their forms half myth, half reality. Every corner of this realm tells a story written long before humanity learned to write its own. But this story is not only one of beauty, it is one of survival. The Amazon faces threats like never before, chainsaws, flames, and greed carving scars into its body. And yet, the forest endures, holding secrets that may hold the key to our own survival. Medicines untested, species undiscovered, lessons untaught. The Amazon is not just far away, it is here, within us. With every breath we take, we carry a fragment of this rainforest. With every rainfall across distant lands, its touch is felt. To enter the Amazon is to step into a world both fragile and eternal, where the ancient and the modern collide. This is not simply the story of a forest, it is the story of life itself, complex, interwoven, and breathtaking. And in its depths, if we listen, we may just hear the heartbeat of the earth. The Amazon rainforest is a realm of scale so immense, it challenges imagination. Spanning 5.5 million square kilometers, it covers nearly 40% of South America. This colossal expanse stretches across 9 countries: Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Of these, Brazil holds the lion's share, sheltering more than 60% of the forest within its borders. At the heart of this wilderness flows the mighty Amazon River, the largest river on Earth by volume and the lifeblood of the basin. Originating high in the Peruvian Andes, the river travels more than 6,400 kilometers before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. Each day, it releases around 209,000 cubic meters of water per second, more than the next 7 largest rivers combined. Along its journey, over 1,100 tributaries join its path, forming a network of waterways that feed the rainforest like veins in a living body. But the Amazon is more than just a river and its trees. It is a layered world. At the very top stands the emergent layer, where giants rise above the canopy, trees reaching 60 to 70 meters high. Here, harpy eagles patrol the skies and capuchin monkeys leap between branches. Beneath this lies the canopy, a dense green ceiling that captures nearly all the sunlight. This level is the true engine of the forest, home to countless species of birds, insects, and mammals. Descending further, we find the understory, dim and humid, where jaguars prowl and snakes coil in the shadows. Finally, on the forest floor, only 2% of sunlight reaches. It is a place of decay and rebirth, where fungi thrive, insects swarm, and the cycle of life begins anew. Beyond its vertical layers, the Amazon also holds a diversity of landscapes. The Várzea, or floodplain forests, are seasonally inundated by rising rivers, creating habitats where fish swim among tree trunks. The terra firme, by contrast, remain dry year-round, home to towering hardwoods and some of the most fertile biodiversity on the planet. There are also wetlands, savannas, and swamps, each a unique ecosystem in its own right. Geologically, the basin is ancient. For millions of years, it has shifted and adapted, shaped by tectonic forces, erosion, and the ebb and flow of prehistoric seas. Fossil evidence reveals that long before it became a rainforest, parts of the Amazon were once a vast inland sea. Today, the Amazon's geography is not merely a backdrop, it is the foundation of its biodiversity. Every curve of the river, every shift in elevation creates new habitats, new niches, and new opportunities for life to thrive. It is a world vast, layered, and alive, a landscape as intricate as the life it sustains. The Amazon rainforest is a kingdom of water and heat, a place where climate is not just background but lifeblood. Temperatures here remain steady year-round, averaging around 27 to 80 degrees, with little difference between seasons. Instead of winter and summer, the Amazon knows only two rhythms: the wet and the dry. Rain defines the forest. Each year, the Amazon receives between 2,000 and 3,000 millimeters of rainfall, with some regions surpassing 6,000. This water is not evenly spread. Instead, it arrives in bursts, sheets of rain that transform trails into rivers and rivers into oceans. These downpours feed the great Amazon River, swelling its banks and flooding surrounding forests. In the flooded Varzea, fish swim among tree trunks, and pink river dolphins glide through drowned groves. But rain here is more than weather. It is a cycle sustained by the forest itself. Through evapotranspiration, billions of trees release water vapor into the air. This moisture gathers into clouds, which drift and break into rainfall, nurturing the same trees that breathed them out. Scientists call this the flying river, an atmospheric current of vapor that not only waters the Amazon, but also influences weather patterns far beyond. Some studies suggest that rainfall in the United States, and even parts of Africa, owes a debt to these invisible rivers rising from the Amazon. The climate is not always forgiving. During the wet season, flooding can swallow villages, strand animals, and reshape entire landscapes. In the dry season, though shorter, the forest faces another challenge: scarcity. Rivers shrink, fish migrations stall, and some plants wilt. Still, the Amazon has always adapted, its life attuned to these rhythms. In recent decades, however, the rhythm has begun to falter. Prolonged droughts, once rare, now strike with alarming frequency. In 2005, 2010, and again in 2015, devastating dry spells gripped the basin, killing trees and leaving behind tinder for fires. Fires, once virtually unknown in this humid realm, now creep across parched landscapes fueled by human activity. The Amazon's climate is a paradox: stable yet fragile, enduring yet vulnerable. It has survived ice ages and ancient shifts, but the pressures of modern change, rising global temperatures, deforestation, and disrupted rainfall cycles pose dangers unlike any it has faced before. Here, weather is not mere scenery. It is the pulse of the forest itself. When the rains come, life explodes. When the skies falter, the entire Amazon trembles. Step into the Amazon, and you step into the most biodiverse realm on Earth. It is a tapestry woven from millions of threads, each leaf and creature a stitch in a pattern too vast to comprehend. Scientists estimate the forest harbors 390 billion individual trees, belonging to over 16,000 species. Among them stand giants like the kapok tree, soaring 60 meters into the air, and the Brazil nut tree, whose fruits feed generations of animals and humans. Plants here are more than scenery. They are architects of survival. Vines climb tirelessly toward the canopy. Strangler figs twist around hosts until they replace them. and orchids bloom in bursts of color on branches high above. Some species carry secrets that have changed the world. The cinchona tree, source of quinine, gave humanity its first effective treatment against malaria. The rubber tree fueled industries, wars, and revolutions, binding the Amazon to the modern world. Countless others, still unknown, may hold cures for diseases yet to come. But plants are only half the story. The forest is alive with sound, movement, and shadow. The Amazon shelters an astonishing array of creatures. 2.5 million insect species, more than 1,300 birds, 430 mammals, 400 amphibians, and over 3,000 species of fish. Many are still unnamed, still waiting in the dark to be discovered. The forest floor is home to its elusive ruler, the jaguar. Silent, powerful, and solitary, it stalks prey with unmatched precision. Nearby, armies of leafcutter ants march in endless lines, carrying fragments of greenery back to subterranean kingdoms where they farm fungus in a delicate balance of cooperation and survival. The rivers teem with legends. The arapaima, one of the world's largest freshwater fish, grows up to 3 meters long and can leap from the water like a missile. The feared piranha, with its razor-sharp teeth, inspires fear and fascination. The mystical pink river dolphin, with its gentle eyes and otherworldly hue, has inspired countless myths among indigenous peoples who see it as both protector and trickster. Above the canopy, flashes of brilliance light the skies. Macaws in scarlet and gold fly in pairs, their calls echoing like laughter across the forest. Tiny hummingbirds, their wings a blur, sip nectar from flowers in a dance that sustains both bird and bloom. At night, the forest belongs to the unseen. Owls with haunting calls, bats weaving patterns in the dark, and insects whose glowing bodies paint constellations beneath the trees. Danger is never far away. The green anaconda, the heaviest snake on earth, coils silently in swampy waters, capable of overpowering caimans. Tiny yet deadly, the poison dart frog flaunts radiant skin that warns predators of its lethal touch. Even the soil crawls with life. Beetles, centipedes, and scorpions, each playing a role in the endless cycle of decay and rebirth. Yet for all its beauty and menace, the Amazon is a symphony of balance. Predators and prey, flowers and pollinators, fungi and fallen leaves, all connected in a web so intricate that to remove even one thread is to risk unraveling the whole. The sheer abundance here defies imagination, but it also humbles us. For every jaguar we glimpse, thousands remain hidden. For every plant we study, dozens more lie unknown. In the Amazon, the greatest discovery is realizing how little we truly know. It is, in every sense, a living tapestry, woven through with wonder, resilience, and mystery. For thousands of years, long before maps were drawn or borders were set, the Amazon was home. It still is. Within its vast expanse live nearly 400 indigenous groups, speaking over 300 languages, their communities numbering close to 1 million people. To them, the Amazon is not wilderness. It is family. It is history. It is life itself. The Yanomami, living deep within the northern rainforest, carry traditions rooted in balance with the land. Their shamans speak of spirits within trees, rivers, and animals, guiding the people in how to live with respect for the world around them. The Kayapo of Brazil adorn themselves in brilliant body paint, their rituals celebrating the union between people and nature. To the Ashaninka of Peru, the forest provides not only food and shelter, but also songs, stories, and medicine. For these peoples, the Amazon is more than resource. It is sacred. Rivers are ancestors, trees are guardians, and the forest as a whole is a living being. Knowledge of the land is passed from generation to generation, often through stories that blend myth and practicality. A tale of a spirit bird may, in truth, teach where to find certain fruits. a story of a river goddess, may warn against fishing during spawning season. This wisdom extends into medicine. Indigenous healers, through centuries of observation and practice, have identified plants with extraordinary properties. Leaves to reduce fevers, roots to ease pain, bark to calm the mind. Scientists estimate that nearly 25% of modern medicines trace their origins to plants found in rainforests, and many of those were first used by indigenous healers. Recent archaeological discoveries have challenged old beliefs that the Amazon was a pristine wilderness, untouched by humans. Evidence of vast geoglyphs, engineered soils known as terra preta, and ancient agricultural fields suggest that indigenous civilizations once shaped the forest on a grand scale, sustainably. Rather than depleting the land, they enriched it, creating ecosystems that flourished long after their settlements vanished. But today, their way of life is under siege. Roads, farms, and logging push ever deeper into indigenous territories. Mining pollutes rivers with mercury. Outsiders bring not only exploitation but also disease. Entire communities have been displaced, their cultures eroded by pressures from the modern world. And yet, indigenous peoples are not passive victims. They are at the forefront of resistance. Leaders like Chief Raioni of the Kayapo have become international voices for conservation, demanding protection for the forest and their ancestral lands. Across the basin, indigenous organizations patrol borders, confront illegal loggers, and advocate for rights that are centuries overdue. Their fight is more than cultural, it is planetary. For when they defend their lands, they also defend the biodiversity, climate, and balance of the Amazon. Their knowledge of how to live with the forest, not against it, may hold lessons for us all. In their stories, their struggles, and their resilience. The indigenous peoples of the Amazon remind us of a truth too easily forgotten. The rainforest is not a resource to be consumed, but a home to be respected. The Amazon rainforest, vast as it is shrinking. Since the 1970s, nearly 17% of its total area has been lost, mostly due to human activity. What took nature millions of years to build is being dismantled in mere decades. At the center of this destruction is deforestation. Millions of trees are felled each year to clear land for cattle ranching, soybean farming, and logging. Highways carve scars into the canopy, opening remote regions to settlers and industries. As trees vanish, the delicate balance of the Amazon collapses, rainfall decreases, soils erode, and species vanish. The consequences extend far beyond South America. The Amazon stores an estimated 100 billion tons of carbon in its vegetation. When trees are cut or burned, that carbon escapes into the atmosphere, fueling climate change. Scientists warn of a dangerous tipping point. If deforestation continues, the Amazon could lose its ability to sustain itself, gradually transforming into dry savanna. Such a shift would not only devastate biodiversity, but also accelerate global warming. Fire is another threat. While natural wildfires are rare in the Amazon's humid climate, human-set fires are increasingly common. Farmers use slash-and-burn methods to clear land, and during prolonged droughts, flames spread uncontrollably. In 2019, dramatic satellite images showed vast plumes of smoke rising from Brazil, casting international spotlight on the crisis. Mining adds further pressure. Gold extraction contaminates rivers with mercury, poisoning fish and people alike. Oil exploration carves roads and pipelines through pristine landscapes. Hydroelectric dams, though touted as green energy, flood enormous areas, disrupt fish migrations, and displace entire communities. Deforestation is not only an ecological tragedy, it is a cultural one. As the forest disappears, so do indigenous languages, traditions, and ways of life. Villages lose their land, rivers lose their purity, and the bond between people and forest fractures. International awareness has grown. Protests, campaigns, and scientific warnings have pushed governments to act, but enforcement often lags behind promises. The lure of profit remains strong, and illegal logging networks continue to thrive in remote corners of the basin. The Amazon's challenges are urgent and interconnected. Climate change makes droughts more severe, which in turn makes fires more likely, which then release more carbon, worsening climate change. It is a dangerous spiral, one that threatens not just the rainforest, but the stability of the entire planet. Yet the Amazon has always been resilient. The question is whether that resilience can withstand the pace of modern destruction, or whether humanity will choose to change its course before it is too late. The story of the Amazon is not only one of peril, but also of resilience, innovation, and hope. Across its vast landscapes, efforts are underway to protect what remains of this irreplaceable ecosystem. Governments, local communities, scientists, and international organizations are joining forces, each bringing different strategies to the fight for the Amazon's survival. One of the most prominent conservation efforts lies in the creation of protected areas and reserves. Today, over 50% of the Amazon basin is under some form of legal protection, ranging from national parks to indigenous territories. These zones act as sanctuaries, where deforestation is either strictly controlled or entirely prohibited. Research has shown that lands managed by indigenous peoples are among the most effective barriers against deforestation, often outperforming government-run reserves. By securing indigenous land rights, conservationists not only protect the forest, but also uphold centuries of cultural traditions tied to the land. At the global level, initiatives such as RED+, reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, provide financial incentives to developing countries for preserving forests. By assigning an economic value to the carbon stored in trees, RED+ encourages governments and local stakeholders to view standing forests as assets more valuable than cleared land. While the implementation has faced challenges, such as ensuring transparency and fair distribution of funds, the idea has reshaped how the world perceives tropical forests in the fight against climate change. Technology is also playing a pivotal role. Satellite monitoring systems now provide real-time data on forest cover, allowing authorities to detect illegal logging and respond quickly. Drones, AI-powered mapping, and even blockchain-based supply chain tracking help trace commodities like soy and beef, ensuring they do not originate from deforested lands. These innovations bring accountability to industries historically linked to Amazon destruction. Grassroots movements have been equally vital. Local NGOs and community-led initiatives promote sustainable livelihoods, offering alternatives to logging and slash-and-burn farming. Projects in ecotourism, sustainable harvesting of Brazil nuts and acai, and small-scale agroforestry allow residents to earn incomes without sacrificing the forest. For many rural communities, these initiatives bridge the gap between survival and stewardship. Still, the future remains precarious. Rising global demand for food, minerals, and energy continues to pressure the Amazon. The coming decades will be a test of political will, particularly in Brazil, which governs the largest portion of the rainforest. International cooperation, coupled with domestic policy shifts, will determine whether the Amazon can withstand these pressures. What is at stake is more than just biodiversity. The Amazon is a climate regulator, a cultural treasury, and a lifeline for millions. Scientists warn of a potential tipping point, a threshold where deforestation and climate change could transform vast swaths of rainforest into dry savanna. Crossing this line could unleash devastating feedback loops, accelerating global warming and permanently altering the landscape. Yet, amidst the warnings, there is reason for cautious optimism. Awareness of the Amazon's importance has never been higher. From school classrooms to the United Nations, the call to safeguard this green heart of Earth echoes louder than ever. If humanity can rally behind the vision of the Amazon not as an expendable resource, but as a living ally, then its future may still be secured. The challenge lies in transforming this vision into action before time runs out. The Amazon rainforest is more than a place on a map. It is a living legend, an ancient cathedral of nature whose story is interwoven with our own. It breathes with us, nourishes us, and silently shapes the rhythms of the earth. From the whisper of its rivers to the songs of its birds, the Amazon speaks a language older than civilization itself. Yet this voice is fragile, strained under the weight of chainsaws, fires, and human ambition. To lose the Amazon would not simply mean the disappearance of trees and animals. It would mean silencing a vital part of the planet's memory and future. And so, we are faced with a choice. We can continue down a path that sees the forest as expendable, or we can rise to the responsibility of guardianship, ensuring that future generations inherit its wonders. As the camera fades on the endless green canopy, we are left with a final thought. The Amazon does not belong to us alone. It belongs to all life, past, present, and yet to come. Its echoes remind us of what we stand to lose, but also of the enduring possibility to protect, restore, and reimagine our bond with the natural world.